a type of public-private collaboration that we have not generally had in these crises needs to be put together pretty quickly.
Very similar to what Tim was saying, I think.
But if I could just follow up on that, I think the complement might be mobilizing the G20 finance ministers. The reason the G20 got together initially was the Asian financial crisis. And it may be that, in fact, that there's a role for them to not only incent the private sector, but then also look what those complementary set of public sector financing measures could be, which would actually lower the bar or make it much more attractive to ride this out into the future in a way that companies are going to be able to get shareholder engagement, et cetera.
Thank you. Eduardo, your business is moving things around the world.
Yes.
What's it going to take to keep it going?
And just to underscore the point that cooperation among supply chain providers or businesses that have huge supply chains can add a lot of efficiency to the whole process and be protective of healthcare workers to make sure that even the delivery systems workers are also taken care of using multimodal, right? Air, land, and sea. So there could be a lot of cooperation with the Lufthansas and the UPSs and others throughout the world to really consolidate trade lanes to make sure that the commodities get to where they need to get to.
Does that happen now? Or is that something that has been imagined already and worked on? Or
No, I think that happens today.
It does.
You know, there is a huge freight forwarder network. You know, we do not land UPS brown tails everywhere in the world, so there are cooperations among companies.
So we could build
and
on
trade
those.
lanes. Yes.
Okay. Steve?
I think the statement about what would happen even in the absence of any government intervention, travel would decrease. People are not going to, they're going to know what the information is about where disease is and not travel there. I think that there is an important role for government to not make a bad situation worse. And that is largely going to be communicating valid and trusted information about where the problem is so that people can make their own decisions, and that whatever guidance the government, national governments do provide is tailored to what the situation actually is. I think there is a spectrum of interventions all the way from just saying, you know, hey, there's a disease here to something that exists today. If you're pregnant, don't travel to a malarious area. I mean, there are travel guidances in place all the time of that sort.
But let's be clear. People trust less and less what comes from government. They're actually enabling many sources of information, Google, Facebook, the free-to-air media networks, ensuring that they are equipped, companies who will talk to their staff. And we know that very often these days people believe much more something that will come from their company than they will believe something that comes from government. So we have to partner.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to say that we are actually going to get explicitly into communication shortly in a subsequent discussion, so maybe you could hold that thought for one moment. But just in closing, it sounds like there is a kind of a support here at the table for developing some kind of international coordinated approach for identifying the most important trade that's happening in the world, the essential services, for the collaboration between business and governments. Any final comment? Last 30 seconds.
I'd like to make a comment about the security of supply. Industries need to take a leading role in making sure that the key providers upstream of commodities for their final products, that there are simple things in place. Like, for example, if going to a factory is a dangerous place, what are we doing in the factories to change that? Are people wearing masks? So there are probably very simple things that industries and trade associations could work on for critical commodities.
Okay, well then we'll leave it there. We have to leave it there for time. Thank you all for your input. Our team, again, will take the board's recommendations and promulgate them widely to decision makers around the world. And this concludes this meeting.
Great, and we will now take a 15-minute break and reconvene the exercise at 10:35. Thank you.